The desert breathed under a sky thick with stars, a vast tapestry woven in silver and deepest indigo. Kokopelli, the humpbacked flute player, spirit of music and mirth, walked the ancient sands. His presence was a warm ripple in the cool night air, a promise carried on the breeze where his fingers danced upon his simple wooden flute. A cascade of pure, liquid notes sprang forth, shimmering like moonlight on water. This wasn't just melody. It was life itself. The notes touched the parched earth, coaxing shy desert wildflowers into vibrant bloom. They rustled through the sagebrush, urging tiny seeds to unfurl green shoots towards the waiting moon. Crickets paused their chirping, kangaroo rats peeked from burrows, and even the stoic saguaro cactus seemed to lean closer, drawn by the irresistible pulse of creation humming from the flute. Kokopelli's music was the desert's heartbeat, a sacred covenant between the land and the sky. One twilight, as Kokopelli traversed a high, wind-swept mesa, overlooking a deep, echoing canyon, a fierce gust roared unexpectedly from the chasm below. It tore at his cloak and whipped his hair wildly. Caught off balance, the spirit stumbled. His cherished flute, a constant companion carved from resilient desert wood, slipped from his grasp. It struck the unyielding stone ledge with a sharp, sickening crack that echoed far louder than the wind's howl. Kokopelli scrambled, heart pounding like a trapped bird, his fingers closing around the instrument. He lifted it slowly, dreading the confirmation. A jagged fracture ran clean through the flute's slender body, silencing its voice forever. A profound emptiness settled over him, deeper and colder than the desert night. The vibrant connection he felt to the earth, the joyful energy that flowed through him into the world, vanished as abruptly as the final note. He stared at the broken wood, a silent tear tracing a path down his weathered cheek. The desert felt the loss immediately. Without the flute's song, the world seemed muted, drained of its subtle magic. The vibrant wildflowers Kokopelli had coaxed into bloom only yesterday began to droop, their petals curling inward, losing their vivid hues. Seeds nestled in the sandy soil remained dormant, refusing the Suniero's gentle warmth. A quiet melancholy descended. The playful scurry of lizards seemed subdued, the chorus of night insects faded to a sparse, hesitant chirping. Kokopelli wandered the familiar trails, his steps heavy. He tried to hum, but the sound was hollow, lacking the resonant life force that once pulsed from the flute. He felt incomplete, a vital part of his spirit fractured along with the wood. The vast, beautiful desert stretched around him, but it felt distant, unreachable, like a painting he could no longer step into. His hump seemed heavier, his journey purposeless under the indifferent stars. Weeks bled into months. Kokopelli walked alone, the broken flute a constant, aching weight tucked inside his cloak. He avoided places he used to bring joy, ashamed of his silence. One scorching afternoon, seeking scant shade beneath a towering sandstone arch, he sank down. Utterly weary, he drew out the two pieces of the flute, running his fingers over the jagged edges of the break. A tiny desert ant, undeterred by his sorrow, crawled onto his hand, its delicate antennae brushing the fractured wood. Kokopelli watched it, a flicker of curiosity momentarily piercing his gloom. The ant explored the splintered surface with gentle determination before moving on. Later, a sleek raven landed nearby, its intelligent eyes observing him. It hopped closer, cocking its head, then let out a soft, croaking sound that wasn't music, but held a strange, earthy comfort. It didn't fly away immediately, sharing the silent space with the grieving spirit. A subtle shift began within Kokopelli. The ant's resilience, the raven's quiet companionship, small acts of existence continuing despite his silence, stirred something long dormant. He remembered the deep patience of the desert itself, enduring centuries of drought only to burst into breathtaking bloom after a single rain. Perhaps his music wasn't truly gone. Perhaps it was merely transformed. Waiting, he looked at the broken flute not as a symbol of loss, but as two separate pieces of potential. The jagged edge wasn't an end, but a new beginning he hadn't dared to see. He carefully wrapped the pieces back in soft cloth, a fragile ember of hope warming his chest. For the first time since the fall, he wouldn't abandon his song. he would find a new way to sing. Kokopelli journeyed towards the heart of the desert. Seeking the wisdom of the oldest spirits, he climbed to a hidden spring, its water whispering secrets over smooth stones. He sat beside it for days, listening not just with his ears, but with his spirit. He watched the wind sculpt the dunes, observed the intricate patterns of a spider's web glistening with dew, felt the deep, slow pulse of the earth beneath him. He learned the rhythm of the hawk's cry, the rustle of the ocotillo's thorns in the breeze, the gurgling song of the hidden water. He began to understand that music wasn't confined to the flute. It resonated in every living breath, every shifting grain of sand. He absorbed the desert's symphony, letting it fill the silence within him. One evening, bathed in the fiery glow of sunset painting the canyon walls crimson and gold, Kokopelli took out the two pieces of his flute. He didn't try to force them together. Instead, he held one piece in each hand, closing his eyes. He drew a deep breath, filling himself with the memory of the spring's song, the whisper of the wind through the sage, the patient strength of the ancient stones. He brought the smaller piece to his lips. A single, clear, pure note soared out, different from his old music, simpler, yet vibrating with a profound depth of feeling. It hung in the air, a solitary star appearing at twilight. Then he carefully sounded a note on the larger piece, a lower, resonant tone that seemed to rise from the very bedrock. He alternated between them, not playing a melody, but weaving a tapestry of sound. The high note like starlight, the low note like the enduring earth. It was a conversation between the broken parts, a harmony born from fracture. The desert listened. The single notes, simple yet imbued with the spirit's rediscovered connection and hard-won wisdom, washed over the land. They didn't force life like the old cascading melodies. Instead, they invited it. A single, determined blue lupin pushed through the sand near Kokopelli's foot, unfurling its petals towards the sound. A cricket cautiously answered with a soft chirp. The raven, perched on a nearby rock, tilted its head and added a low, approving croak to the symphony Kokopelli played on, his heart swelling with a quiet, resilient joy. His music was changed, marked by the scar of the break, but it was deeper, richer, and more true. It spoke not just of endless joy, but of enduring hope, of healing, and the beautiful, unexpected music that can arise from learning to sing again. Even with a broken instrument, under the watchful, loving stars that had never truly abandoned him, the desert breathed easier, listening to its humpbacked spirit find his voice anew.